Instead of making the usual New Year's resolutions, make 2020 the year you tackle your financial bucket list. So local financial professional Steve Ringo from DeWitt and Dunn Financial Services is here to give us some tips on how to get started. So I've never heard of a financial bucket list. What is that?
Much like a kick the bucket list, it's something that we have to have so we can actually get to the things that we want on our bucket list.
Okay.
So a financial bucket list is something that you want to put in order so you have a good financial future.
All right, so what kind of things are we putting in order?
So the first thing that we want to do is eliminate debt, right? Most of us are walking around, we have mortgages, home loans, car loans, student loans. Average credit card debt is roughly 17%. So on $1,000, that's 170 extra dollars that we're paying that could go to our financial future.
All right, so I mean, paying off debt, we always hear of that, but easier said than done. I mean, do you have any techniques to help us out with that? Where do you begin?
So there are a couple of different school of thoughts. One is let's tackle the highest interest rate first, and then there's also the snowball effect.
Okay.
Either one of those strategies will work. You just have to stay committed to your plan. So I like the snowball effect because you're going to list out all the debts that you have. Start with the smallest, make your minimum payments on the other debts, and then with time, that snowball will increase and you'll end up paying off all your debt.
All right. Do you believe in the motto that every time you get paid, you should maybe store some away in a savings account that's not really your savings account? It's like a second savings account, really? Absolutely.
I mean, having an emergency fund is extremely important. You know, I tell my clients we want to have at least 6 months of expenses off to the side for the what ifs, right? Something happens to the house. There's a medical bill that comes through. The last thing that we want to do is tap into our retirement assets to pay for those unnecessary expenses. So by accumulating money, putting it off to the side, keeping it liquid is a good place to have for your emergency funds.
Okay, and then when we're also talking about the credit card debt, right?
Right.
That should be the first thing that you tackle first instead of something like student loans?
Definitely. So you definitely want to tackle the credit cards if you're planning on not using them again, right? Because most student loans that are out there have lower interest. So anytime that we're attacking the higher interest, it's always going to be better for your future.
You know, I think heading into 2020, we should be thinking about financial freedom and our retirement. What's your advice on that?
Yeah, so once we've worked on eliminating some of the debt, we're beginning to put money away for emergency funds, then we want to increase our savings to 15%, right? It's a lofty goal, but we can definitely get there. Like you said earlier,
15% of each paycheck.
15%, correct.
Okay, and that's outside of like 401k.
So you can combine 401k in with that. So it depends on what age you're at, right? Because if you're 25 years old, and let's assume that you contributed $5,000 a year into your retirement plan, well, at an 8% rate of return, that $5,000 would turn into almost $1.3 million at an 8% return, okay? Now, if you waited till you were 35 years old and did the same thing, you have half the money. So it depends on when you start. So obviously the closer you get to retirement, if you haven't worked hard to accumulate funds, we definitely want to make sure that we're adding more funds and contributing more on a monthly basis.
I mean, let's face it, a lot of families are living paycheck to paycheck. So how is this even attainable for people that are in that position?
Great question. I mean, since we have technology, right? There's technological advancements that have been made to where we can sign up for memberships and we can swipe a card and we're spending money on a daily or monthly basis. Go through your...
Make some cutbacks?
Exactly. Make some cutbacks. Even if you're starting off saving $10, $20, $30 a month, start somewhere and then gradually increase,
All right, Steve, how can we tell people out there to get in contact with you?
Yeah, so definitely we can be reached at our website, DeWittandDunn.com. That's DeWittandDunn.com.
All right, Steve, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Great info there.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back after this break.